Today's sponsor is brought to you by Epidemic Sounds. They have awesome music across the board. They focus on copyright-free music. There will be a referral link down below if you want to go check them out. Y'all can get a free 30-day subscription on us, guys. So make sure you go check them out. They have awesome stuff.
We are also brought to you by PYER Gaming Supplements. It is a brain-boosting nootropic energy gaming supplement that has power, precision, and focus. Use code iFlames30 at mypyre.com for 10% off.
I think what Pete Stroke was more asking is like what the podcast is based on is your never quit story of like overcoming your hardest times in your life.
Oh, okay.
I think Pete Stroke was trying to get at is what moment or moments, what story would you like to tell the people?
Oof. I guess it would kind of go back about a year or two ago, maybe just a little bit longer. So basically, it was just kind of being that teenager kid. Had a truck, tires, wheels. Every guy loves their truck when they got one. Hanging out at the parks with a bunch of other trucks, big group of friends, having a blast, and then I ended up moving out to an apartment. Not on the best side of town. Started doing deliveries with a truck, which sounds weird, but you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
Right.
And I remembered it so perfectly because, when you have something in life and you build it up, like that's your baby. Like Pete Stroke, your truck's probably your baby.
Both of them.
Yeah,
trust me.
Yeah. So I was trying to do a delivery, and
so did you say delivery? What kind of delivery?
Domino's. Yeah, I was doing pizza deliveries. But I was trying to. I was waiting on this dude to get a pen. It took him 6 years to find one, I swear. And all I heard was a loud exhaust flooring away, and I was just like, if that's my truck, I swear. And I went downstairs, and I couldn't see it going down the stairs, so I was like, maybe I'm just in the wrong angle. Got out there, and it was gone. And I'm about 20 minutes away from the Domino's I worked at. Called up a buddy, and I was just like, man, I just started screaming at the top of my lungs. Like, really, he hit me deep. I was like, I hope I can find it. That kind of hit my soul. And so at that point, I was already smoking weed and everything, just kind of being done with it. It wasn't worth it. But once that had happened, those drugs went from being a get home and relax to suppress everything.
Yeah.
So that kind of like took over a big part of my life going into the next couple of years. We found my truck, but they stripped it, absolutely tore it apart. It's crazy to like even think about it again, because it's just like it's something you don't want to have happen. Mm-hmm. But yep, they ended up auctioning off my truck. I just got like a regular old basic Mitsubishi car. And after that, I was just like, screw life. Like, if this is how crappy people are, I'll feel the same way. Like, I'll match their energy. And, that moment was probably what put me underground pretty much. Like, just felt like life was over at that point. Started hanging out with the wrong people. Started doing more and more drugs, and started meeting some people that I shouldn't have, like people that worked with the cartel or big kingpin dealers, stuff like that. Like I wanted to be, because I started selling and I wanted to be low key about it, make a few bucks here and there just so I could smoke. I didn't care about having money in general. It didn't mean anything to me. But me and the guy that I was living with, we wanted to start dealing more and more and more. And so once we started getting those connections that kind of put our names out there in the wrong way, obviously we had an image to keep of acting hard and doing what we got to do, like robbing, stealing, stuff like that. the whole 4-9. It was insane. And over time, I was like, man, I go to bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning high. I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning getting high. Like it was just terrible. You know, that really takes a toll on your body. Before I even started doing that stuff, I weighed about 150 or so. By the time I got done doing that stuff, I weighed about 110, 115. Because I kid you not, I think there was like that week where I had one thing of ramen noodles. That's all I had. And so one night I started working at a Honda dealership. And at that point I was just like, you know, I got to get into a rhythm here. I got to get money in my pocket. I got to change something about life. Like this sucks. You know, I shouldn't have to keep a gun off safety and like ready for something to happen. Like that's not living life.
Right.
And so one night I was laying in bed. I had work at 6 a.m. and the guy that I lived with, we worked at the same place, but he's just stopped going. Like, I don't know why. I had work at 6 o'clock in the morning. Again, my buddy, he was working there too, but he wanted me to be his babysitter to wake him up and get him there. And I wasn't feeling it. I was like, hey, like I'm leaving at 6. If you're not up by 6, I shouldn't have to wake you up like a parent. So I would always go there. But this night in specific, he went downstairs to our parking lot in the apartments and was going to deal to somebody he knew. Made a stupid choice of getting in the car with them. Cars packed full of people, and they start beating him up in the car. They're trying to like steal his duffel bag that he had. He jumps out of the car. They run him over. So he came running in with like tire marks, busted all around, teeth bleeding, mouth bleeding, like everything. He was just messed up. And I came out and I looked at him, and you know, I was supposed to be the guy that's like his sidekick or whatever. Like we're supposed to be a team. I'm supposed to have his back or whatever. But I took a good look at him and I was just like, I don't want that. Like, this isn't me. Like, I'm definitely faking it. Like this, I'm trying to act hard. I'm trying to hate life, but I know I don't.
Yeah.
So went back to sleep. I was just like, you gotta kind of have to figure it out, you know? And then I seen, like, I think it was like that night or like the next day at night that I seen a video of this motivational speaker, and he was like, you know, I've seen the video a million times, but for some reason, when he said, if you show me your friends, I'll show you your future, it really hit me deep, like down in my soul. Right after I seen that, texted my dad. I was like, hey, listen, like, let me move back. Let me change. Like, let me do what I got to do. Sure enough, he let me, and he was kind of hesitant about it at first because he knew about the stuff I was doing and what was going on. And so he told me, he was like, if you don't move with us to Virginia and you stay here, you're as good as dead in a year.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like I'm willing to go. And we've been here for about almost 2 years now. I've had the same job. I haven't, you know, gone through 6 different ones in a month. You know, I've bought 2 motorcycles. I have my own car. I have my setup stuff, you know, and an absolute loyal wife by my side. Like, I couldn't ask for a better life.
Right.
You know, because I think at the end of the day, what really helped me overcome it was me wanting to make that change, but also the people that were kind of like ghosting for a while in the back, but showed up out of the fog and was like, we're still here to help.
Right.
So, I mean, that it's like we were kind of saying last night, like, you know, if you ask for help, people are willing to give it to you, but they're going to tell you, like, we want you to try it. It's not, we'll do everything for you. You just got to kind of get out there and do it. And sure enough, it was a rough, long road trying to get out of the habits and everything. But where I'm at now, being happy again, being goofy, I never could be that hard guy. I mean, I'm a skinny dude who's going to be intimidated. Let's be real here, you know, like, you know, but yeah, it's nice being happy. It's nice trying to, you know, like at work, I'm the goofy guy. I love people. Like people are angry and mad at the jobs they get, but when I make them laugh, they're just like it makes their day better. That's always been my ultimate goal, is just to be the Joker and just like have people smiling nonstop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, just enjoying life at that
absolutely.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, after all the help that I got, where I'm at now, I definitely credit it all to them. Um, it's it's amazing. I
Yeah.
didn't think I would pull through that at all for how bad I hated life, but now that I see what life actually is with people around you that care about you and love you,
Mhm.
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I could imagine coming from, that world that you were in into, fighting through that and then coming out on the plus not just not just coming out, but having the having the self-aware be like, holy shit, I'm in this shit, and then having those few words, inspire you to pull yourself out of the shit that you're in is, it says something about you.
Yeah. Because how long were you going through all that?
I would say about 2.5 years.
Damn.
But even though like it seems long, but it's kind of short at the same time, considering what other people may go through
Yeah.
for long periods of time. But the amount of stuff that was going on, I mean, it was just a daily basis of, like you wake up in the morning, like the mindset that it was for me and my buddy is just wake up in the morning, get high, who are we going to sell to today, how much money are we going to make, who's going to possibly rob us, who are we going to possibly rob, different stuff. Like it was just terrible. Like I didn't I thought being that little gangster was all fun and games until it got real. And
Right. To people start getting hurt.
right, I like somebody owed money, and one of the guys that we would buy from, and his cousin, who was a part of the cartel, they went and beat up guys with baseball bats. And I was just like standing there looking, and I was just like, nah, like that's insane. Like
Right.
this isn't me. Like I know deep down, I was just like, I gotta keep this image, otherwise I'm the next one up, or
Mm-hmm.
on my own time, I'll figure out what I got to do to get out of this. Cause, I definitely believe within a year I would have been dead for
Yeah.
sure. Cause I wouldn't have had, I had family in Nebraska, but I didn't have the absolute support that my wife or my dad would give me.
Yeah.
So it definitely would have been a struggle.
Yeah. Especially for the
Hmm?
world that you're in, you have to support it to find
Yeah,
people.
I definitely gotta have support, especially to get out
Yeah.
on that. That's good. That have you always been close with your dad?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He's so my like kind of put into perspective, my mom, she's always had like medical issues where it's kind of tough for her to be around. But that's completely understanding. So my dad's always kind of had to like pick up, you know, he's got to do a lot more than usual. And so growing up, obviously, I was a mama's boy. I wanted my mom all the time. My dad would be the discipliner, so I was like, I hate you or whatever. But now, like getting older, I'm just like, I appreciate all the ass whoopings he gave me.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it meant everything. So now me and my dad, like I think after him helping me pull me out of that situation, we definitely like 110% clicked. Like
Right.
our relationship it took off from there.
Yeah.
Hearing, I think the worst words you can hear is like when your dad says to you, like, I'm disappointed in you. It really hits you deep.
Yep.
It really does.
Yep. It does.
Yeah.
And
That was the first thing that came through my mind too. When you're saying, I was like, when a parent says they're disappointed, not that they're mad or upset or anything like that. It's I'm disappointed in you. Like it hurts. It
absolutely.
hits deep.
Yep.
Yeah, because they're not going to give you a reaction of being angry or anything. If they sit there like poker face and then say I'm disappointed, you absolutely hit them to their core.
Yeah. You done fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes down to, you look up to your parents, you look up to your dad and your mom and all that stuff, and then to travel down those avenues, and they know that you're in a bad spot, but that goes back to also you gotta be willing to accept that help and be wanting help, you know, and ultimately you actually came to that with, you know, to me it blows me away just a couple of words pulled you out of that. That's something awesome.
Oh yeah, you know, I've seen plenty of motivational. I tried to watch as many motivational speeches as I could, just to kind of be like, will this help me believe? Will this help me believe? But the video that I've seen a million times, you know, I've heard, you know, show me your friends, show you your future words so many times. But that one instant, I'm very grateful that it clicked, like turned a knob in my head and was just like, you got to do something else with life. This isn't you. You got to, you know, obviously it's, I guess you could think of it as like God being like, hey, like this is life. I'm not going to give it to you, but I'll put you on that path for it, type thing, you know? So, and I definitely decided to take that path. I wouldn't change it for the world, because I wouldn't be at where I am today without making that moment as big as I could possibly make it.
Yeah, people, they get so wrapped up in their bullshit. They're like, well, I wish I could change this and change that and change this. It would have maybe for better. It's like, no. It's like all the stuff you've been through, it made you who you are, and it's going to push you to get through your other bullshit in life.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's, you know, like you were saying, like some people, they're living such a shitty life, but they only want to change a few things, but keep the other thing that's going on just because they're comfortable with it. I, not gonna lie, like when I moved back in with my dad, I tried to do the same thing. And he told me, he was like, listen, like I can see that you're trying to change, but you're not fully changing. And if it doesn't, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to leave you here. Like, I'm not going to take you with me to Virginia. I'm not going to bring this to a different state and have you do the same thing. So I was like, all right, like I got this. Like I got to do it. Otherwise I'm screwed.
Yeah. You'd be thrown out on your ass, and good.
Yeah, you definitely.
Especially in a situation.
So were you and your wife together at the time before or during all this as well, or did you meet her after you moved?
We were together before this. We actually just on March 3rd, we just hit our 4 years. So
nice, congratulations.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary.
But yeah, like that's another big part of like getting me out of everything for sure, was like when, you know, I was obviously not working, bumming around. She was paying all the bills. She was supplying me what I wanted to smoke. So, I mean, like literally she was taking care of an absolute bum 100%. And, you know, I made some poor decisions throughout the like lines of like hurting her feelings really bad and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, she still loved me. She still cared for me. She wanted to be with me. So I knew that love connection was 100% true. And I was like, I definitely have to put a rock on that finger, because if I don't, I'm going to be mad that another man does, you know?
Yeah. She, I bet you the reason she stuck around, she can see the good side of you, you know, just,
oh yeah.
She was waiting for you to want that help and willing to pull yourself out of it.
Right. Yeah. She always tried to push me to that point, and she definitely did. I'm just, you know, obviously, like I would say I'm pretty strong for kind of getting out of that situation, but I would say she is an absolute Hercules of sticking through that whole situation and making it out and pulling me with her, you know. Absolute queen. I love you, babe.
Yeah, she's a warrior too, to stick around you and you know, fight through with you too. So
and give you that helping hand when you ask for it. I mean, that's one thing, like we've talked about it a couple of times on here too, is people like needing help, but it's hard to help somebody unless they want help themselves. Like you can offer, but until they say, I need help, I want to get out of this, or I need to change, or like just something, and that's when someone like your wife or your dad is able to like actually like help, like step in and actually be able to help you. But yeah, it's those moments of finally realizing that you yourself are wanting help and just asking for it.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Yeah,
well, absolutely.
And it may take, you know, some people it takes them years and years and years to come to that realization, and some people it takes only one day to come to it. You know, it's you know, and whatever it is for, just like you hearing that quote, you know, it could be someone just walking on the street, said one word to you or gave you a hug and it snapped you out of that. It just takes just a single moment in life just to push you out of there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like, you know, do I miss sitting in a recliner all day smoking? Yes and no, just because obviously I don't want to pay bills. I'd rather sit there and kind of bum again, you know. But at the same time, like I love sweating and bleeding for what I have now. I think that's what makes people who they are. Like,
Yep.
you know, especially the amount of emotions that were always bottled up, just sitting there, like, you know, take one dab and I'm just like, I hate life even more. And I think that's kind of what was fueling the hate, you know, is the mindset that I had and doing what I was doing. It definitely played a really big toll on my mindset for everything. And so when I decided to cut back and, um, you know, move on with everything, I felt free. I mean, you know, to the people that use, you know, marijuana and stuff for medical reasons, I'm all for it. But, you know, for the people that use it as a depressant, I don't agree with it after personally dealing with it. It's just gonna kill off what you feel for about an hour, and then you're still gonna feel it at the end of the day. Like,
Exactly.
you know, it won't take a drug to change it. It's gonna take you to change it.
Yep.
So that's kind of what I had to do with it.
Yeah. That's the thing we talked about. Oh, go ahead, Picho.
No, go ahead.
That's one thing we talked about last night with you, Bear, is you know, fuck, I lost my train of thought now. Go ahead, Mark.
and I agree with that too. Is I mean, I used to do used to do the same thing. Not necessarily like sell or anything, but like smoking wise, like smoking weed or marijuana, whatever. Dude, my like emotions, a fucking roller coaster from hell, dude. Like 1 minute I'd be the greatest person to be around, laughing, joking, having fun, just having a fucking blast. The next minute, dude, I'd be in the darkest, deepest hole, pissed off, angry at the world. I can't count how many times I used to fight with my dad all the time. And I mean, I even went and like, cause before like my parents like knew or anything that I had smoked, like they went and like had me like blood drawn and stuff like that, just trying to figure out why my emotions are all over the place. And then it come to find out once I stopped smoking and I leveled back out again, it was just because of that. So
yeah, in the same way, I get very anxious and nervous, and you know, just, I think I'm allergic to weed actually. But yeah, it just fucks me up, man. It puts me, because I'm a thinker anyways, man. I think, like I told you this before pre-stroke, you know, I think a lot of shit, and it puts me down a deep fucking hole that's not good for me. And yeah, when I'm on marijuana, it further just drives me into that shit. It just, and it's then being inebriated with that stuff, it's like tenfold harder to get out of, just to pull me out of. Then once I'm getting down with the high, I'm still stuck to that same mental aspect because I'm just so enamored into that reality, because you know the drug pushing me so far down that fucking rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's, you know, I try to tell, like me personally, I shouldn't have started smoking in general. Like obviously I use it as a depressant, and you know, especially with my mind already being a roller coaster prior to drugs, you know, it was a very bad idea to try to think weed would level that out, but it made it worse. It's almost like a heartbeat line. Like if you're flatlining, that means you're thinking straight. But if you're getting those heartbeat things going, that means you're up and down with those emotions. Like it's insane.
Just it's like this, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And for like people that use it like medically and stuff like that actually like need it for like sleeping and all that whatnot, you know, like 100%, like if it helps you, like good, but if it brings you down and it just sends you down that hole even further, just stop.
Yeah.
I know it's more than someone just saying stop like that, you know. But a lot of people abuse it for sure.
No, yeah, totally. And I've had friends in the past that, you know, I'm sure they're still on it. I no longer talk to them because how, I guess, reliant and fixate on drugs, marijuana being one of them, that, you know, it's torn their lives apart, you know, not in the sense of, you know, they don't have no job or nothing. It's just in the sense of they surround themselves by the wrong people, you know, just other people are doing the marijuana and other drugs too that are not helping their mental healthness whatsoever. And it's, you know, like you said last night, Bear, you are who you surround yourself by and all that stuff. And, you know, most people that do drugs are surrounded by other people that do drugs and have the same mentality. So that just further puts them down, you know, in that rabbit hole.
Right. You know, the saying always goes, if you want to be a millionaire, hang out with millionaires. They
Yep.
got that mindset, they put themselves there and they'll get you there. Like,
Yep.
always surround yourself with good people, you know. And you know, don't get me wrong, like, if, like, same with the medical marijuana thing, like, you know, people use it for good reasons.
Oh yeah.
But I think what probably would have saved me most is, like, even though I wasn't using it for that, I think that having the people I did around me while I was doing it definitely made it worse, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe if I was just chilling at home after a long day or whatever and did it, probably wouldn't have been as bad or such, like, oh, I need to do it, I need to do it. Because I mean, it was so bad that, like, you know, we would bring like our dad bong with us to work. We go on lunch, we go take one, or we even drive 30 minutes back home we have 30-minute lunches. We drive 30 minutes home, 30 minutes back just to get a couple dabs in. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just what we needed to get through the day. So it was terrible. My body definitely took a toll. Mine took a toll. But now that it's all gone, don't care about it anymore, don't need it. Even now, like, the smell of it, I'm just like PTSD, honestly. It's
Yeah.
just like, I don't need it.
I'm the same way. That within cigarettes and all that stuff is just like, how can you? To me, it's fucking. It just reeks and stinks now. It's just like, nah. Plus, you're putting something foreign in your fucking body. It's not supposed to be there. People say, "Oh, drugs is a good way to open your mind and all that shit." It's bullshit. No, drugs are not supposed to be in the body. The body's supposed to be at a natural state with natural stuff in it, and not having some foreign, you know,
chemical or
plant,
anything.
plant that's been grown in a fucking laboratory. You know, the shit that we have these days is not marijuana anymore. You know, it's all this stuff.
Oh God, no, yeah.
You know, fucked with science and all that stuff, and then twist it this way and twisted it that way and all that stuff, and it's all grown in labs now, to the point where, you know, you just take a little bit of hit of it and you're fucking stoned for 2 fucking days. It's not natural shit anymore.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, you go in the middle of the woods and you go find one or whatever that wasn't planted by someone.
Right.
There you go. That is as natural as it gets. Yep. But you
Yep.
get all these ones that people are growing indoors or adding different like stuff to the water to help it grow and all that. Like, it's not good.
No, it's not.
It's not beneficial at all.
It's funny that you bring that up though too, because it's like, we didn't have you know, obviously we're bumming. We didn't have any money to smoke or get anything. So Nebraska has a lot of wild grown like marijuana plants. So we would drive around, we would chop them down, bring them back to the trailer, and we just didn't know what to do with it yet. So we were sitting there one day, we were just kind of smoking the last little dabs that we had, and this girl shows up and she was like, "Hey, my boyfriend's wanted by the feds. They were going to come raid my house." So because he was growing in his basement. So she chopped all of them down and packed them in trash bags and brought them to us. So we're just like, well, you're an absolute walking felony right now. Like, yeah. But we were like, hey, more to smoke, you know, we didn't care. We were like, if it comes with the charge, we got high before getting one, you know?
Right.
And dude, like, we went down to the smoke shop with the little money we had left, picked up a bunch of butane, tried to make our own dabs, and it almost backfired because obviously butane is absolutely flammable. And me being high, I'm standing right above the dude shooting the butane into the weed plant. I'm smoking a Black and Mild, and he's like, "You want to back away before you blow our faces off?" And I was like, "Oh, my bad." And so then we let the dabs kind of chill out and everything. Came out okay, I guess, for a crackhead like I was. But my buddy went to take one, and the bong just exploded right in his face. Like,
oh, shit.
luckily he didn't get hurt, but it was just like the fact that we need to do all of this just for a fix is insane.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, people think that you can't get addicted to marijuana, which I think you can. It's just like any other drug. It alternates your body. If you smoke it long enough, and then your body starts getting used to it, and once it's not in your system anymore,
Craves it.
craving it and all that stuff. Just like anything, whether that's meth or alcohol or just prescription pills. It's
Yeah, I have a buddy his dad grows for like medical people. So he's kind of been doing that for quite some time now. So obviously my buddy has like been around it. He's been smoking since he's 16 and he's like 25, 26 now. And he's always told me, like, I'd tell him, I was like, I was addicted to it. Like, I know it was. And he was like, no, you can't get addicted to weed. I've been doing it for so long and I don't need it. And I was like, okay, quit right now.
Yeah.
And he's like,
stop for 1 month.
yeah. And he can't. He
Yeah.
can't. And he's like, oh, after a long day at work or whatever. And I was like, no, if you truly could quit, you would quit.
Yep.
But if you can't, then
it comes back to that, like, you have to want to do something to be able to do it, or like asking for help. It's that same mentality.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a tough one to get out of, man. I've always looked at like before I started doing that stuff, I always looked at people and just like, I was that shitty dude that was just like, oh, just like fix yourself, like stop doing it, blah, blah, blah. Like just thinking it was just so easy. And then when I lived it myself, I was just like, man, like now I truly understand. Like I can understand for the rest of my life now that if someone's struggling, I know for a fact they need help. They just can't do it themselves.
Yeah, it's hard shit, man. Like we talked last night, fixing you as a human is the hardest fucking thing you'll face in this world.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely one of the hardest things to face, but especially if you have someone that's by your side, like your wife, your dad, and stuff like that. But it makes it a lot easier, and it's super helpful. Having that help as well. So it's always nice having someone there for you.
Yeah, right. You got to have a team with you. You can't fix yourself by yourself. Even if you want the help, you can want the help to end of the world. If you're by yourself and then you're not gonna be able to win that battle, you're gonna have to have a team around you, whether that's one person or 20,000 people. You just gotta surround yourself with some people that are willing to give you some help and guide you and hold your hand and tell you it's gonna be all right.
Oh yeah, and like we were saying last night as well, Flames, was when you hit your goal, like my goal was to get out of everything, stop everything. Once I hit my goal, I didn't stop there. I kept moving forward, helping other people, doing like making someone else's day. It wasn't me just getting the help that I got, and I'm just going to be like, well, now that I have everything that I want, plus that, like now I'm just going to live my own life. I mean, that's not what makes the world go around. Like, when I've hit my peak and I can't go anymore, I'm going to help someone get to their peak, and then trickle effect, that's what's going to make the world a little bit better.
Yep, exactly.
We were talking with Brian about that too on the first episode with the guest, but Brian Chambers is the same way. As his entire story is he was always wanting to be able to build something for himself to where he can help others. And I mean, he went down several different paths and finally ended up on where he is now, which is helping people every day. Yep. Whether it's through his podcast or just his mentorship that he's got. I don't know how many he has. Do you know, Aaron?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's got.
I know he has me at least.
He's got several people that just email him or call him like, "Hey, I just need help today," and he's like, "Okay, what's going on?" And then he just gives him the advice and like helps him out, and that's always what he's wanted to do. And
absolutely. Yeah, and
he helps everyone. It's just not just with business stuff. I mean, he's helped people with drug problems. He's helped people with relationship problems, marriage problems. Losing people. Whether that's through death or anything like that. But he's helped with multiple things.
Oh yeah. There's and something like that with him going down different paths and then coming out on top and just wanting to help people. That's amazing. And, you know, I think that's one of the biggest things that people can gain from getting out of a situation like this is what do I want to do now to help someone else? You know, I can't be selfish in this point. Like, I'm not the only one that needs help. Other people need it. So that's why as much as I hated the cops during my whole, you know, era of that, once I, you know, got done with it, I was like, dude, like, knowing what, even though I was born in Texas, Omaha, Nebraska is where all my family is. That's basically where I've done most of my life. Um, but I think knowing what's going on in that city, you know, it's no longer older guys, I guess you could say, that are selling stuff. It's the biggest drug ring is right under the police's nose of teenagers going back and forth, you know, making trips to different places to grab stuff, come back. And I mean, they wouldn't suspect it. And so I was like, and why not, you know, become a police officer? Like, you know, not just because I want to crack everything down and just be that one guy, you know, trying to cuff everyone up. It's one of those things where I know I could be that cop to where I've been in this situation. I've been in this city doing it. So I know how you feel. I know how to help you change it. And I don't think it's just one of those things where, oh, like you're committing the crime, like for using drugs, like taking you to jail. I think there should be a thing where we take it further, and try to help them. You know, obviously most of the time when people go to jail and they're off that stuff pretty bad, they sober up. If they're in there long enough, they don't need it anymore coming out. But I just don't think that's somewhat necessary. Like,
Yeah.
that person was put in that situation because of trauma somewhere before that. So I think fixing that trauma is definitely going to help them out, and having those different resources of being a cop, counselor, or whoever, like, I think those are the biggest people that will, you know, kind of help change everything for sure.
Yeah, that's a big thing that we need in you know, the justice system is not just, you know, throw a sentence on you, boom, you're in jail for the rest of your life. You go on, you know, whether that's, you know, you spend the rest of your life in, or whether that's death row or whatever. In my opinion, we should have some rehabilitation type of resources or program within that to, you know, give that person some guidance to at least, you know, give them a chance if they want to change, and, you know, make them into a better person. Because ultimately the reason they're that way is because they've been steered down the wrong path in life, and probably been around the wrong people their whole life. So that's the only world that they know. So they stick to it.
Yeah, that's absolutely like true. Because, you know, especially with the prisoners that are on death row, never getting out, they have to pretty much think like, am I dying today? Am I dying tomorrow? Whatever. Like, you know, I was watching a documentary where they gave like cats and kittens or dogs to those prisoners, and they're like, look, we can change them. Like, this is what helps them. This is what, you know, steers them in the right direction. And that absolutely happened with me. Flames saw, I think Stroke was doing something, but Flames, you saw my cat. Um, I um, I was always looking for a kitten just because I wanted one. I had a dog, but of course, being dumb, never around, always hanging out with friends, I had to get rid of it. That also hurt me to a core, and made things worse. But then obviously the name makes sense. I picked up Dabby, and um, once I did, literally on Craigslist, it was just, hey, $10 for kitten. It keeps beating up my dog. I was like, boom. Doesn't even show a picture, but I want it, you know. Picked her up, went to the new apartment, and I've had her ever since. You know, she's definitely one of those emotional support animals, in my opinion. And that's also another thing that helped me steer into the right direction, is having that one thing, uh, almost kind of like my truck was. Like, I cared a lot about it. I worked on it a lot, did a lot to it, and the amount of love I had for it. But now that, like, you know, Dabby's around, can, like, if I'm feeling down, she knows when to come over and lay with me and stuff like that. Like, I think that's one of those resources that can help out a lot of people too, is like, you know, emotional support animals or emotional support this or that. Like, I definitely think there should be more resources for that, for people to reach out and gain.
Yeah. I'm all for that. You know, I don't want to just, you know, that's why the way society is today. If you fuck up, you're gone, you're canceled. You know, get you out of here. You don't get no second chances, whatever. You know, I'm not for the second chances. And, you know, you would have to really, you know, I mean, ultimately, like, fuck me over to me not to like almost like kill my whole family for me not to give you a second chance. But you know, I believe in, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 chances. You know, how many ever it takes to get you right and get you better in this life, and to start seeing the good in life and start winning, and you know, help you get that positive and mental health for you, then we all win.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely having that mindset definitely helps out everything as well. Like, you know, for a while, like I would always tell my wife, like, my family never hits me up. My family doesn't, one birthday they didn't say anything, send me anything or whatever. And I just like, I was mad, pissed off, and I just hated them. And I was just like, once I got through all that, now I'm like more of a family man, and I never was. Even at family events, I would show up high, you know, and I mean, they literally thought I never did it, but they thought I was like off of crack and meth and stuff like that because my body, my cheekbones or my cheeks were so sunk in, like I was pretty much a skeleton.
Yeah.
And they were just like, man, like obviously he needs help. But I just think they kind of wanted me to take the steps first, which totally understandable. You know, sometimes to be able to help someone so far gone, you got to see them make that personal step for themselves.
Right.
And so I'm glad I did. I definitely want everyone to do the same. Um, sorry, ADHD's kicking here a little bit.
You're good.
I was
Well,
just like,
that reverts back to like what we were talking about a second ago with having to take that first step yourself and either asking for help or just wanting to help yourself.
you can make a plan. Everyone has a game plan they can write down and whatnot. But I think the absolute number one step is like, do I really believe in me wanting to change? That is the biggest part. Like if you don't take that step one, you're gonna get some of that help. It's some things are gonna change. You're gonna get comfortable with that change, but then you're gonna fall right back into where you were because you didn't keep making the same steps to be able to get out of that. You know, and that's what's really tough with a lot of people is you're so comfortable living the way you are. Um, that's really the downer for it is when you're, and it sucks to say, your brain is like, there's more evil than good sometimes. You know, your brain is like, hey, I'm comfortable bumming, smoking, but I hate trying to work hard and do the right thing. Like, so weird how it works. But, you know, at the end of the day, once you do good, once you work hard, you just feel accomplished. You feel like a weight is lifted off your shoulders. Um, you know, the devil's off your shoulder, the angel singing in your ear, like we did it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it feels amazing.
It does feel amazing. It's because you're making progress, you know, in your life, and you're not stuck in the same bullshit that you know that you're in and you want to get out of. But you know that also goes to, you know, the fear factor of, if I do get out of this, what happens if I fall back into it, or what happens if I try this new thing, if I fail? It's like, okay, what if you do fail? It's like, so what? It's like, pick back up where you left off, where you failed, and try it again, and just try until you break through that barrier and get through it.
Not everybody, and that's not everybody's perfect at everything either. I mean, everybody fails at some point, and that is the building blocks of like progression and getting to where you want to be in your future and everything. Is you got to fail and get those stepping stones. Like, okay, this didn't work, does this? No, this doesn't work, does this? And it's going through those steps to build to where you are, where you want to go.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a teacher, man. For me, I don't believe in failure, man. All it does is, you know, I wish I was a different word for it, you know, just it just teaches you what not to do, or better yet, what to do in a better way, you know.
Yeah, like I said last night, Flames, like at work, you know, I may have been here in about 2 years now, but it's one of those things where you're learning something new every day. Like, you know, I tried putting a molding on the glass, setting the glass, and I made an absolute mess with the glue. And, you know, one of our techs that's been here for a while, he was like, well, this is what you're supposed to do. So it's not really a fail. If you look at that, you're going to make yourself, you know, down about it, think about it the rest of the day. It's more of, I know what to do. Now it is stuck in my head that next time this comes up, I know what to do because I now learned it. You know, there's never a failing moment. It's just your life is one big classroom.
Yeah, it is.
That's what it is. You know, there's always something, you learn something new every day. Um, and when you use that learning experience to progress it into tomorrow and the next day and just kind of keep folding it over, then the bad things in life just can't touch you. That's just kind of how it is. I mean,
Yeah. Well, you have those strengths now in your back pocket to use when life does get hard. You know, you can throw that card at me like, no, life, I got this shit, and you ain't throwing this shit at me. If you do throw it at me, I'm just gonna fucking overcome it, because you have that life experience in you now.
Yeah, especially, I mean, you can always look back, like I went through all of this. Whatever you're going through now, you can move past it and get forward.
Right.
Exactly. And that's been the biggest blessing, is that, you know, since moving to Virginia with my parents and stuff, and living with them, um, definitely not taking it for granted, because like at this point, like how far gone I've built up to who I am now. But when I do go out on my own soon, I can't go back to how I was. I have to stick to who I am, who I've built up. I've got to keep, you know, progressing it. I mean, it's you know, to be honest, it's kind of easy to be the person you've built yourself to be with the help still around, but when it's not around and you kind of have to, you know, keep it moving forward, that's kind of a tough thing, you know, because it's just like, I'm out on my own. I've got only me, I've got only my wife, you know, so it's like, now it's just us two. We got to figure it out. We got to stay strong. um, and I think that's what's amazing about being able to build who I am, is that I'm getting strong enough that when I do go on my own, I'll be good, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to, you know, even when you're starting out too, you have to do that too. I mean, people can help you out and guide you and all that stuff, but it's ultimately you're the one that has to dive in deep into your fucking head and see what's, you know, what's making you fucked up and what's making you not work right. And, you know, like I said before in the past, even on previous episodes, is, you know, it's hard shit, man. Some scary shit. You know, people have, you know, done that before and haven't made it out. You know, that's one reason, you know, soldiers and all that stuff get out of the army or just out of the military and, you know, ultimately committed suicide, is just because they have so much dark turmoil in their head that they can't pull out of it.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being in that situation. You know, obviously it's not as bad as going to war and stuff, you know, but it still hits you as a person, still hits your core, that when you do go out on your own, it's just like, you've got to kind of, it's almost like walking up to the start line, you know, and just kind of taking a deep breath, kind of like starting college, I guess.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath and just be like, got to crush it, you know.
We're here. We're gonna do this. We're gonna finish it.
Absolutely. You know, it's a marathon, but it's an unlimited marathon until your last heartbeat. Like, it's going to be a struggle for sure. But what you make of it is, you know, what's ultimately going to be you living your best life.
Yeah. And that's our motto on this show, is you're not allowed to quit. You know, you can't stop whatever you're doing. You got to just push forward, and anything you're doing, whether it's, you know, starting a business or starting a new career or a relationship, or, you know, if you're having a struggle with your marriage, or if you, like, you know, like you, for instance, if you're stuck in drugs or in the gang life, just anything, you know, trying to get better, as you can not quit. There's going to be, even if you get past the bullshit now, life's going to be good for a little bit, and then life's going to throw you another curveball. It's just, you know, you can't have the good and the bad without the good. So, you know, it's just gonna, you're gonna have to just keep on pushing, and it's only gonna make you stronger. And, you know, once you're an old man, you have all this fucking wisdom that you can share to people and help out people, and, you know, to, you know, give their information to people and to push people past that. Then, you know, you've done your job on this earth.
Oh yeah. I tell my wife all the time, like, after all the stuff that I've done and seen, and, you know, obviously life experiences, they're going to keep happening. I always tell her, I'm like, you know, when I'm old enough, I'm definitely going to be a Medea. Like I am going to be going crazy on, trying to help, my kids, grandkids, their grandkids, whatever. Like I want to kind of put it into my kids' heads right away that like this is what life is. And obviously that's really tough. My parents tried to do the same, and I of course didn't listen, being a dumb teenager and stuff like that.
I'll
But
second you on that one. That's me.
yeah, it's tough. Like it really sucks that you don't realize what life is at a young age, and when you hit a certain age, you're just like, man, like I should have listened. We all want a time machine to go back and be like, damn, like I would go up to my younger self and be like, dude, do this or I'm going to punch you in the face. Like you've definitely got to change right now. Otherwise you don't know what's coming for you.
Yeah. And that's my only regret is I wish I would have started all this stuff sooner, like way, way back. I wish I had, I don't dwell on it, but it's just something that, I kind of think about it once in a while. It would have been nice for, me to be more self-aware and be more, willing to help people. But it's better than it's better to start now than never to start at all. Just like Bryant Chambers we had on our podcast, he was talking about that he's had people that are 65 years old on his mentoring program. He's like, it's never too late to start. It's like you can be 100 years old. It's like it's still not that's still the time to start. Just start it. It's never too late.
I trying to remember, I can't remember his name now off the top of my head. The dude that started like KFC. He had a career-long job up until he was 65, left and started the chain of KFC at
Colonel
65
Sanders.
Years old.
Colonel Sanders.
Yeah. Well, he's got an actual name.
Oh, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. I don't remember his actual name, but yeah. And at 65 years old and up and just quit everything that he was doing and said, I want to do this. I want to make this. I mean, I think he was like, he like cooked and stuff like that beforehand.
Yeah.
But yeah, just up and he's like, this is my dream. This is what I want to do. And followed his dream and put that first foot forward and went with it.
Yeah. Found his life purpose.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's all we're searching for, man. That's all anyone's on this planet for. Whether, if they done good, done bad, or, if they're stuck in the rut or whatever, they're all just looking for the purpose, man. We all getting stuck in bullshit in our lives, and, but it's as a human whole, it's our job and their job too. It's 50-50. It goes both ways to pull each other out of that shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. When I wanted to start getting out of the situation I was in, I actually, I was doing gutters for a little while. I may work hard labor now, but God, sun beating on your back, holding a gutter, that was terrible. I'll never go back. But we did like a power washing job while we were there. And I really liked it. Like it was just oddly satisfying to watch just dirt, one clean line. And
hey, one fucking job I hate was doing fucking roofing. Fuck that job.
Yes, dude. It's terrible.
Roofing and cowboy boots sucks.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw that out there right now. My first time I ever did roofing, I was wearing cowboy boots. I will never do it again.
Slipping and all those. You probably had fucking blisters out the wall.
Well, I mean, they were pretty grippy, so wasn't that. It's just the angle from the boots already, and then being on the roof. Terrible, dude. My shins were on fire.
I bet, dude.
I couldn't imagine, dude. You think that the worst part about that is like I had to deal with like this big tree, and I'm carrying this 40-foot ladder by myself, trying to get like one side of the gutter down on the side of the house, and I've got a crazy ass chicken trying to peck at me at the same time. I was like, I just kept trying to kick at it. I was like, get away from me, like. But yeah, man, like just to get out of that point, I was like, what's going to make me work harder? And I took what I liked doing, and that was power washing for a minute, and started up my own little company, Watts Washing. And, my dad, for my birthday, he was like, are you really serious about it? And I said, absolutely. He bought me an electric power washer that I could just plug in, run water. And, I started doing jobs for different people. And then it went from just washing houses to taking off the old stain on decks and then restaining the deck. And you know, it's definitely hard. Like, it's not really hard labor. It's just, it's exhausting because, you know, it's not an easy, quick process. Especially the painting part, that dreadful. Um, but yeah, like I was just like, man, like the way I saw it was, this is getting my work ethic up. Like I really didn't have one. This is getting my work ethic up. I'm sweating profusely, getting all the toxins out of my body of all the drugs I've been doing. Um, you know, and after moving here, I kind of like obviously couldn't do it as much because I needed to find an actual job to get me going. But you know, I can't wait to start it back up and just kind of do something that I love and like. And I think that's kind of like what people should look for is, what do you, to gain the experience and like get forward in life, you have to look forward to like what you love doing.
Oh yeah.
You know, like streaming, like I love streaming. I love, you know, hanging out with you guys, talking to you guys, making P-Stroke almost cry. Um, but you know, I still have to work those long hours at work and then come home and just be like, it was worth it. Like, this is what I get to do now. This is why I get to continue to do it. And, you know, hopefully one day I can make it go further. But yeah, finding something that you like and just thriving with it is going to make your life experience a whole lot better.
I'm gonna start. You should change your Twitch name to I give everyone 10,000 bits.
Yeah, man,
crazy ass.
Facts.
I love doing it. I love doing it.
It's
And
fun.
I'm telling you, you know, it makes me, there's not a whole lot of experiences in my life that like I could say I was truly happy with, you know. Like I told Flames last night, like I can go buy out, I'll go out and buy a $20,000 Harley. I'll be happy with it. I'll love it. But if I can go out and make someone smile and make their day, like how speechless Flames and you, P-Stroke, were last night, that was amazing. Like that made me truly happy. I loved seeing the reaction. It's just like, and I could totally tell it made your guys' nights. Like that's what I thrive for.
Exactly.
So that's a good mentality to have too. Is I mean, ever since you first came in, dude, your whole thing was to always help push someone or help yourself and help others move forward. And I noticed that from the first time you came into my chat, you know, and I was like, all right, this guy, he's a good guy. He's good. He's gonna be good to have around and help me go forward, help you go forward, and all of us just help push each other forward. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and it's amazing that it works that way. Like Flame said, like, you know, last night he was like, man, you're part of the community now. And it means a lot because it's not one of those communities where, yeah, if I send you, like when I sent you 20,000 bits, you cared, like you loved it. And, you know, you turned around and you were like, just go follow Yagbear, you know, do this, let's get into affiliate. It's not that community where if I'm giving you something, you're not selfish. You actually are returning it. Like that's what makes the world go around. Like it's that if I help out you, you help out me, and then vice versa, going around in circles. That's what's amazing about it.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, you know, with me, when I see somebody opening the door and, you know, whether it's a restaurant or a convenience store, I pay it back, man. You know, the next time I'm opening the door, I fucking hold it for, I'll hold it for 12 people. You know, if there's people walking in, I'll be the last motherfucker to go in. As long as I can help pay it back, and then I'm all for it.
I'll stand there and get offered a job. Hey, you want to be our doorman? Because I'll stand there for that long.
Right. Hell yeah.
Someone opens the door for me, I'm, you know, gonna hold the door open the next time it's my turn, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's like I forgot. I just lost my train of thought.
I think what it is like the small acts of kindness, or they may be small acts to you at that time, but to someone that you're doing it to, they're huge acts of kindness. That's the greatest thing about it.
Dude, they're infinite.
Yep. That goes back to that saying that you had heard is show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Is I mean you guys in general, being super kind, helpful to everybody. I mean, that's what I know my community, Aaron's community, and on both on Twitch are all about is we all help each other. That's what this podcast is for. I mean, we literally built this podcast to get people's stories out there of their hardest times in life and how they overcame and got to where they are now.
Yeah.
But if someone else is going through, going through the same thing, that way, okay, you know, this guy made it out. This is kind of how he did it. Exactly. You know, I can try this avenue that he did, and it might get them out.
Yeah.
If not, it'll at least put them on the right path
Mm-hmm.
of, hey, I need help, or
Yeah.
But that's what it's all about, is that way they can get moving in the right direction too.
Yeah,
And
that's the reason I want to like I diverse, get as many guests as we can on here,
oh, very,
So,
yeah,
so if someone is, if one guest didn't work for them, if their story didn't work for them and how they got on, they can go watch another story. And if that one doesn't help, they can go watch another and be like, boom, that one clicked. That one, that's the one that got them through,
Oh yeah.
And that's I mean, our guests alone already have been so diverse in itself that I know a couple people that someone was that had reached out to me and said, hey, I was watching a podcast and it helped me through this already and got me on the right path. I'm like, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, that's why I love doing this as much as I do, and why I get excited. It'll be Monday morning,
Yeah,
and I'm like, all right, this one day closer to the Saturday to
right.
hearing someone else's story and being able to get their story out.
Exactly. Yeah, I at all my content that I do, the podcast is literally my favorite thing. Like,
oh yeah,
if like honestly, if this blew up and everything else got left behind, like my streaming, my YouTube and all that stuff, I'd be a little bit sad. But if this blew up and took off, I would be completely and utterly happy doing this fucking full time and helping people out and getting their stories out there and meeting new people and making connections and making new friends and building our community and just making brothers and warriors out there.
Yeah. Well, I'm the same way. I don't know if I could stop streaming technically, just because I love everybody that comes in.
Oh, I do too.
Just all the people that just come in and just hang out and chat or just play the games with me and stuff like that. Like, it's huge, especially for my own mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Before I started streaming, dude, I was in a fucking dark deep hole.
Yeah.
I mean, I love my work and I love my wife and I love everything that I got going on around me. But at the same time, it was just repetitive. It was the same thing over and over. But streaming gets that release, gets me that time off where I can just relax, be myself, hang out with everybody, meet new people. I met you guys both through streaming, through Twitch, and I would not change one thing about every step that I've taken so far since I started streaming.
Exactly. Right. And that kind of goes back to, you got to the point of liking what you were doing and you didn't stop there. Like, you got this podcast going, you love doing your streaming and, that's what you want to do and thrive with, but you also turn around and do this podcast to help out other people. And that's the amazing thing about it. It's not being selfish about, I've got what I've wanted, but I got to make sure other people get what they want as well,
Yeah, we have an obligation now. We're out there helping people. So at this point in my mind, we're fucking stuck with a podcast. We can't stop. People are relying on us to, even with our streaming and all of our other stuff that we do, helping people out, whether that's off the internet or coaching or whatever it is, helping people. You have an obligation to get out of bed and get your fucking day started for those human beings to get right too, because they're relying on you to help them out to get through their bullshit.
Yeah. I wouldn't really say stuck with this podcast, more so excited about this podcast.
Yeah.
Just for me, like, I look forward to doing every single one of these episodes, mm-hmm. and being able to hear someone's story about their hardest times in life. And there's some that I don't necessarily connect with on my own, like, personal level.
Yeah.
But I can understand, like, where they're kind of coming from, and and happy to see that, okay, this path didn't work or this one did, and see where they are now, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And also, I get to learn about, I get to learn about UPS truck, and I get to learn about, what makes the guest tick, and I'll ultimately get to learn about me too, and take notes and what I can implement. Just, whether it's just, a small bit information that I'm getting through these stories to implement in my life. It's huge, even though if they're little, they're still massive to me.
Yeah,
man. when I got out of bed and looked at my phone and saw this, like I told Flames, I ran around in my underwear and I was like, babe, I'm doing a podcast today. I'm doing a podcast. I can't wait. Like,
Awesome.
it's amazing. It's one of those things. It's not, it wasn't me. Like that, my first thought process was it's not me just coming on here for you guys to hear like the struggle that I had. It wasn't that whatsoever. It was like, I've watched their podcast. I know what it's about. I know that if I tell my story and tell how I got through it, I know that's going to help someone out, and I really hope it does. Obviously that's the point of this.
Exactly.
That's the biggest goal, the biggest outcome that we all want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do. Yep. Very true, brother. Very, very true.
I agree 100% on that.
Yeah. So what kind of truck you had?
I had a 2006 Chevy Silverado 1500.
Okay.
I had some tires and wheels on it. I, back to those high school days, I had a light bar. And then went a little choppy and just cut the muffler off. I mean, I feel like a lot of people do that, but
we all have those moments in life.
Oh,
I
right.
admit I did the same.
It was the best moment of my life. The guy I wanted an exhaust. The guy was like, well, I mean, hey, like, do you just want to do it after school? Like, I could just do it easy. And I was like, sure. And he goes down there with the saw blade, and you hear a bunch of grinding, and he comes out and the blade's all turned sideways, and he was like, well, that's not going to work. So, but yeah, it was pretty cool. I don't know if you guys have heard of Custom Offsets. My truck got posted on their page. It was the greatest thing, getting in my truck. People knew my truck around town, raising hell, shit like that. It was amazing. It was fun while it lasted, but quite frankly, I'm glad that it's gone. I'm glad that it happened the way that it did. I'm glad those times are over, because I wouldn't be doing what I am doing now or be who I am now if I was still doing that. My wife always told me, she was like, you were a douchebag with your truck. I really was. Like, I thought no one could touch me. I had fights all the time. McDonald's would ban us for fighting in their parking lot all the time.
Yeah.
Cops knew us by the first name. It's one of those like Ryan Upchurch moments where like you're just raising hell,
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I just don't miss it. I think I'm truly starting at, especially at like the age I am, almost being 23, like I'm truly starting to believe who I am as a person. And I think, is being goofy, is just trying to make people
you're becoming self-aware is what it is.
Yeah.
You're realizing what you've done in the past and who you want to be in life and how you want to be in life and where you want to be in life. And through that, the only way you can do that is become self-aware and knowing what you're doing day in and day out. Because so many people out there, they're in their bubble, man. They get up, they have their rhythm. They don't really fucking think. They do think. They have their fucking media things for them, and then they're not self-aware. I mean, you ask them what they did 2 days, like specific details, they couldn't tell you what they've done because they're not self-aware. They're not cognizant of their self enough to be like, and that opens a whole fucking different. That could be a whole fucking podcast on itself.
Yeah, we can have a 3-hour discussion on that one.
Yeah, yeah. That opens, with getting your mind right, knowing who you are, getting, just a bunch of different avenues. Being self-aware is so fucking important to finding your life goal and moving forward.
Yeah, especially it's kind of nice, like having the name Yagbear. A lot of people are always curious, like how I just came up with, that name specifically. But to be honest, it's amazing that I did, because I don't have to go in there trying to create a username. I have a username for anything I use, so it's beautiful. But yeah, I made the name. One night I was just kind of hyper, playing games, talking to myself, doing the norm. And I probably created this name 6-7 years ago. And I was like, wow, gay backwards Yag. And then while I'm saying that, I'm doing a Yogi Bear impression. So I was like, that actually sounds pretty good. I was like, Yagbear, that's got a ring to it, you know? And so I changed all my usernames to Yagbear. And, you know, a lot of people got curious about the name, but I knew once I had that name and people were starting to get curious about it. And they're like, hey, do you know Zach Watts? And they're like, who, Yagbear? Like it's beautiful because they know Yagbear by being goofy. They know he can be tough when he has to be, and I think that's kind of what's nice about a bear is that, you know, it can look fun and nice, but if you kind of tick it off, it'll get ticked off. Um, but it's just nice that people know me as the goofy guy. I don't want to be known as anything else. I don't want to be known as the little gangster I was. I want all my past decisions to be gone.
Whatever.
Right, like that was not me. I hope, you know, for the people that only remember me by that is like just hit me up and get to know me, because like, you know, that's not me. That's not who I was. I was faking it till I made it, and I never made it until I truly figured myself out and got to where I am now. You know, even when people try to, like, you know, take me off, I get mad. But I don't do it towards them. I'm like, that's a waste of energy. Like the amount of energy I wasted getting mad at other people trying to fight or whatever, it was worthless. It was pointless. And, you know, it made my mindset even worse. So now I'm just kind of like, I take a step back. I vent in my head or out loud, do what I got to do. And then I just go back to being who I am, you know, because quite frankly, if I get mad at them, it's not going to pay my bills or make me happier or anything like that. So, you know,
it's only going to hurt you. It's because a lot of people don't understand how the human brain works and what chemicals get released and all that stuff in the brain. So when you hold grudges and get mad at someone or have hatred to someone, you're always in that state of stressed, because you're always worrying and constantly. It's ultimately a fear because they're doing better than you. Whatever, you know, they're mad at. Ultimately, that's releasing stress into your body. That's releasing chemicals, and that can literally. There's actually studies that stress can actually form into cancer and fucking eventually kill you, and not just cancer, but just other diseases too. Because you're always having these fucking chemicals that are not supposed to be in your body, 24/7.
Oh yeah, yeah. When I was running my power washing business, I mean, that's why I respect bosses and CEOs. You know, a lot of workers, sometimes myself included, just because it would be a really rough day. I'm just like, you know, we're busting our ass trying to do everything we can possible. But you kind of have to respect the, you know, the manager or the boss. You know, he's dealing with everything. He has to talk to this customer. He has to figure out this issue. There's a lot on their plate while we're just doing the jobs that are coming in that day. You know,
Right.
You know, and when I was dealing with that with my business, dealing with customers, them blowing up my phones, or me trying to get the job done at a deadline, and I was a one-man team. I didn't have anyone else, so like it was a whole lot, and it actually created so much stress that I got like, it almost looked like chicken pox in a way. Like I had stress hives, like my body was covered, and I was just like, this just goes to show like that amount of stress level is not what one person needs. There's very few that can handle it. Major respect, but I think I have to grow into an absolute stronger person, because where I was at that time, my mindset was not in the right place. I was just trying to get out of where I was, so I couldn't handle the stress. But now it's a lot easier, you know, especially like that's the amazing part about it, is like after all that, the amount of stress that I can handle now that I couldn't back then just goes to show that when you're trying in life to be better, you can be better.
Oh yeah, you definitely can. Yeah.
To go back, sorry, because I didn't really get to chime in on it. Go back to like the having like fighting people and like, or like the toxic people that come in or whatever into your life that are always trying to like bring you down or whatever. Like you guys kind of saw it last night with me on stream. I just had a couple people come in that were like, "Oh, you're garbage at this game," or like trying to get me all mad and stuff. And dude, I was having the best night. I was like, I really don't care what you guys got to say. Like, I'm not going to put effort into trying to fight you guys, this and that. You know, you've come into my community that, and all of us, we're going super wild on this dude. I'm like, You came into the wrong place, dude. Like, if you're trying to get a reaction out of me, it's not gonna happen.
We're
I'm just gonna laugh in your face. Yeah, I was like, I do this podcast. This is all about mentality and being as strong as you can be mentally wise and everything. I was like, I'm not gonna come down to your level, dude. Sorry. I was like, dude, I pride myself on mental awareness and everything like that, and being the bigger person. I was like, so you can try to get aroused out of me. I'm just gonna sit here and laugh in your face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
That's the best part about streaming is like I told Flames last night, I was like, a lot of people just see like, oh, gamers like wasting money, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, it's like the community around this streaming aspect
huge,
and the amount of respect everyone has for each other and like chat going crazy. Even when I'm streaming and I have 2 people in there, I'm talking to like I got 50,000. Like I'm just like, I'm having fun with it. I'm having a blast. And that's the amazing part about it. Like, some people don't realize how happy this kind of stuff makes us feel. Especially after like rough things going on in life or happen in life, stuff like that. It's like, this could be, or this is the thing that really makes us, thrive in life still.
Yeah.
That's where like a lot of people don't get like gaming wise and stuff like that. Like for like us that do game on a regular basis, like that is our release.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, people turn to like smoking and drugs, alcohol, and all that. Like I turn to hanging out with friends in a voice call and just chilling and vibing and having fun, getting good music playing in my ears, like, and having the best night that I can. I mean, I've come home from having just an absolute shit day at work, and I was like, and I'll talk to my wife for a couple minutes. I'm like, hey, I was like, I got to take some time. I don't want to just sit here because I'm just gonna, for me, like it just builds and builds and builds in my head to where I'm gonna explode. So for me, getting on games, talking with friends, it lets me vent it out, like, and it makes it better for me mentally.
Yeah. I'm the same way as you are, man. That's one reason I want you on the fucking podcast. As a host.
Right. Yeah, man.
Yeah, we share the same mentality.
I'm constantly asked by my family, like, oh, you're such an outdoorsy person. Why do you always turn to games, this and that? And for the longest time, I've ever since I was a kid, I was an outdoor kid. I never sat at home and watched TV or movies and stuff like that unless it's later at night and then before I go to bed or something. I'd get off out of school and I'd be gone outside hanging with friends, either skateboarding, biking, just hanging around. And I mean, I grew up in a small town, but once the streetlights turned on, like, okay, it's time to go home, eat dinner, do homework, and then kind of relax and go to bed. Well, I was outside all day long, but getting here and yeah, I mean, yeah, I still enjoy going outside. I still go do those activities, day in and day out. But if I'm having a stressful day, there's nothing better than hopping into a call with friends and just being able to like get to vent a little bit, or just turning everything else off and just kind of focusing on games and not having to deal with that stress level, and it just lets it just release off of you. Oh, yeah. So whenever my family asks like, oh, well, why do you turn to games so much? Why are you gaming all the time now? This and that. And I'm like, because it's a stress relief. It's gets my mind off of everything else in the world. I don't have to focus on who the president is or who, like, what's going on with a war or, like who's trying to attack us or, whatever's going on in the world at this moment, coronavirus. I've been off work this last week because I tested positive. Instead of me freaking out, blowing up, fucking going off the rail, I'm obviously quarantined. That way I don't spread it to anybody else. And relaxing, hanging out with friends in voice chat that are getting my mind off of it. Yeah, they tease me that I can't taste my food. but like it's a stress relief for us.
Yeah,
oh, yeah. It is. Absolutely, dude.
It helps out mentality.
A lot of people have a misconception on, when you play these games and all that stuff, they're bad for your brain and all that stuff. It's like, it's no fucking bad than what you're doing, the smoking or whatever you may have to have that release. It's no worse than what you're doing. And that goes back to just people not willing to take the time and dive into that world and kind of see of how we are as gamers and why we do it. you know, it's like a Pisto say, it's a stress reliever. It gets our mind off of the bullshit. We get to spend time with our boys and all that stuff and make memories.
Yeah,
Just have a fucking good time and enjoy life, you know.
right. Yeah, I was the same way. Like when I was here for a little while, and then I had like something happen, and my buddy at work was like, "Hey, just come out and drink with us." And I had work the next day, but I don't usually get hungover as bad. But we stayed up until like 4 o'clock in the morning. Um, you know, the last shot we took was moonshine, absolutely destroyed me. And I got to work. He drove me to work, and um, I slept on the workbench. Then I went to sleep in the little room that we have to eat in. And of course, the one day our district manager wants to show up to tell me to go do something for work, I'm just like, I can't. I was like, I can't drive a vehicle. I'm not going to. And he was like, well, then why don't you go home? Because he could smell the alcohol. And I was just like, man, like that was terrible. But I obviously didn't drink that hard after that. I just ended up going out a lot. Like every weekend, I'd go out to the bars, Friday night, Saturday night. Um, and it was a repetitive thing for a long period of time since I've been here. Um, and I was actually thinking about this the other day, P Stroke, that like, I've been watching you for about a month and some days now. And that's basically like when I stopped going out to the bars. Because again, I was starting to put myself around those bad people. I started hanging out with, a couple of different motorcycle clubs. It's like everywhere I want to go, I want to meet the worst people. But, I was just like, I'm starting to get pulled into that aspect um, that could more than likely be worse than what I was in before. So then I just kind of like stayed home. I was like, you know what, I'll just get a bottle for myself. I can go easy. No one's being like, hey, go crazy. Like, let's take another, let's take another. I can sit here and chill, feel good, and just like watch you guys stream. Like that's the best thing about it. Like that's my night. That's what I love watching or doing. um and it in some aspect it definitely saved me from going down the wrong path again of like going from drugs to drinking. Especially like that's what always worried my dad with me going out every weekend is my mom's dad was actually a really bad alcoholic because of all the military stuff. And so he was like really far gone with it, and I just didn't want to see the same thing happen to me. Even though I don't have the smallest Patron collection, but um, but yeah, it definitely like this is it. What's the word I'm looking for? It's one of those things where it's an absolute blessing just to sit here and just like do this right here. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's amazing. I love it.
I sit back when I'm off, I'm just chilling and, kind of just thinking a little bit, not nothing bad. Just thinking of how we met and all that stuff and how we got to the point we are now to the podcast. It blows my fucking mind. It's like, what has like to have everything that lined up through all our fucking lives to all fucking meet and then be able to build a community that we all have and then be able to do this podcast with the community. It's fucking something special.
Oh yeah. And P Stroke, I was telling Flames last night, I was like, I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I was watching Blue Screen for quite some time. And then he raided into your channel one night. And I was, ever since then, I actually kind of stopped watching him because you guys pretty much stream at the same time. But I'm just like, I'm sorry, P Stroke. Like, I'm gonna watch him. Like, he may have messed up and lost a viewer there because I was sending him plenty of bits as well. But um, it was since being in your channel, and I was telling Flames like, hey, like you guys may be a little bit smaller of streamers, but your chat's still going crazy and everything. The community is like amazing. But like that's the best part about it is like, it's really tough with those top streamers trying to pay attention to everyone. Um, but having the community and chat that you guys do and whatnot, it's amazing because we can do this stuff right here. Like, honestly, Aaron, like not gonna lie, it was the first time I was in your channel last night because I had just seen your link for it. And I mean, look at us now. Like we played all night, we talked all night, and now we're doing a podcast. Like it's amazing how things work out.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah, P-Stroke told me to give you a follow, so I went over there and threw a follow down, and rest is history, man. Here we are now.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Kicking
happy
ass,
to have you on with us.
Yes, sir, dude. Yes, sir. I appreciate
You
you.
know,
Last
I'm
minute.
the same way when it comes to like watching like Twitch or like streamer wise or anything like that. Like I mean I used to watch all those big streamers and stuff like that, you know. I never really like chatted or anything like that. I was just kind of watching this because they were good at the game, and it was whatever game I was playing at the time was like, okay, you know, I can learn from these guys or whatever. But I watching like their chats and stuff like that, there's constant people in there that are just toxic. I was like, I don't want that.
Yep.
And so when for me, like I enjoy being a smaller streamer. And yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to be some big streamer, whatever, you know. But at the same time, for me, like I still get to read every single message. I still get to have a personal connection with everybody that comes into chat.
Mhm.
Yeah, the first couple times I might not recognize the name, but I am terrible with names.
Same here.
I am absolute garbage with names.
Right.
Or trying to remember names or trying to, you know, like for me, like especially like I'm in a big car community here. If I recognize vehicles, you can tell me your name 5 times, I won't remember. But I'll remember, okay, yeah, you drove that 2012 Chevy Duramax sitting on forces, blah, blah, blah. And I'll remember every fucking detail about your vehicle. I will not remember your name. And so I'm trying to, so that's one of the challenges that I have with chat. But like after a few times, okay, yeah, I do remember your name now. Welcome back in, you know, blah, blah, blah. And there's no toxicness. I don't allow it.
Yeah,
I don't like someone comes in. I like last night, someone was being super toxic, and I laughed it off. You know, whatever. I don't care. I didn't pay him any attention. He ended up leaving. I was like, whatever, bye. I don't have to deal with you anymore. Well, he came back in, and I'm like, well, someone gifted you a sub. I hope you enjoyed those emotes, and then banned him. I was like, I don't need you here.
Yep.
But every time that you pull up Twitch now, you're gonna see my emotes and be like, I'm an asshole.
Yep.
And then so he is, and for that, hopefully they change. I really do. I hope that they change for the better.
Exactly.
I mean, toxicness does not make the world go around. But
nope, it only hurts them.
Oh yeah, it just makes them look like the bad guy. Yeah. And I'm still over here. I'm still vibing with the same people that I was before you came in here. You didn't change anybody's minds about me. I was like, I don't care what you have to say about me. Yeah, I might be dog shit at the game. I still enjoy the game. I'm still going to continue playing it. I'm still going to continue hanging out, vibing with everybody. I do 2s tourneys. That way I can play with my community.
Exactly.
Because Rocket League only lets me have 8 people at a time, including me. So it's 7 people that I can play with. Yep. If I do these tourneys, I get to play with my entire community. I was like, why wouldn't I do that?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you should just watch these better players since you're trash. I'm like, or play against them. So I kind of realize, okay, this is how fast paced I need to be to kind of keep up with these guys.
Yeah.
Watching ain't going to make it do it. It's playing and getting that hands-on experience. I'm like, later, I don't need you in my chat.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I came in and I was like, oh, chat's mad now. Like, you know, that's the best part about it is like, you know, your chat are the same people every night coming back. And that's amazing, you know, and it's one of those things where you have somebody like that. It's not just you having to like, you know, be like, oh, like I don't want to hear it or like I'm gonna ban you. It's just like chat feels the same way as you do.
Oh,
they're like this guy's amazing. Like we're not coming back for shits and giggles. Like we're here for P-Stroke, and whether or not he's good at the game, we're here to support him. And so like when someone like that comes in, like obviously it's not just you defending yourself. It's like your community that you are building.
Yeah. Oh I had one guy come in and is like, oh, you're so bad at this game, blah, blah. I remember when streamers had to be good at the game to stream this and that. And I literally, before I could even read anything, there was 20 messages from everybody in chat going off on this dude. I'm like, I don't even have to fucking say anything. You guys got it. Have fun.
Right. Exactly.
I was like,
man, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome to have awesome people around you that are willing to be there for you when, you know, bad people come up in your stuff and try to disrupt your equilibrium of what you're doing, you know, trying to disrupt the flow and you know, make big waves and all that stuff. But it's good to have a community and have people around you be like, nah, we're fucking stronger than that. You can take that shit somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then I mean, with that too, I mean, it all kind of comes back to the beginning of this is with that saying is show us your friends, I'll show you your future. I mean, everybody that's in my chat, I mean, everybody loves everybody. I mean, everybody has gotten to the point where we all play with each other.
Mhm.
Like we don't, and especially with like we have like open public tournaments, obviously, but so we get a couple like people that come into like the games or whatever that are toxic, and everybody, there's a mute button for a reason. We just kind of mute them out. We just continue vibing. When we play against each other, that is someone else in the community. It's every time I spectate a game, it's the very first like 2 or 3 messages is a good luck, have fun with a heart, and that's what I love. That's what I thrive on with my community. Is everybody loves each other. Not one person is mean to another. You know.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the hell out of it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome coming in your community and having everyone, when you know, even with me when I come over there, everyone's like, "What's up, Flames? What's up? What's going on?" You know, and that's everyone that comes in your community. That's with you know, Joker, you know, Krabs, Bear, anyone. It's always every single person in there always welcomes everyone.
And that's how your guys' communities are too.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like I'll pop in, and even if I'm not able to pop in for very long, I'm only able to just pull you up on a tab, you know, because I've got something else going on. But like I'll pop in, like, yo, what's up? You know, ask you how your days are or how your day's going.
Yeah.
And everybody else that's already in there is like, yo, what up, Pete Stroker? You know, how's it going? Blah blah. How's your day? And I'm like, yo, like this is what it's all about. This is why I love the Twitch community so much.
Yeah, same here, man.
Is everybody that comes in that's not toxic or whatever just shows love for each other, and it's beautiful.
Yep.
And it keeps that strong mentality going.
Yeah. It's just an avalanche, you know, from because even with the podcast, you know, with all of our stuff that we do, it's just one big community. We're all in this circle together, you know. My community is part of your community. Your community is part of Bears. My is part of Bears. His, and we're all just in it together. So it's just to share that love and connection and just you know, brother and sisterhood. It's you know, something you can't put words on, man. I wish that would spread across the fucking whole world, and you know, and ultimately that, you know, that's what we need to fucking fix all this shit that's going on in the world.
Yeah, no, I every time when I start streaming and you know, Pete Stroke keep pop in, like I'm still like, I always get super excited about it. Like when I see that name pop up, I'm like, hell yes, dude, like welcome in, like appreciate you. Like that's even though like, you know, I may only get 2 viewers, but like I said, like I still have fun. I still talk and communicate. Like I'm talking to a lot of people, and you know, that's just because, you know, it's not like we need viewers to have fun and relieve stress and stuff like that. Like this is what we love doing, regardless if there's anyone watching or they are. We're still gonna have absolute fun with it. You know, obviously it's amazing to have the community that we do. You know, and kind of show the support and hang around, stuff like that. Like I was kind of getting like speechless and flabbergasted when I hit 7 or 8 viewers the other night. I was like, wow, like I never like that. That's amazing. Like I'm glad they took the time to come in and hang out, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's why like every time like someone might not follow, they just come in and say hello or something like that. I always welcome them in as much as I can, you know, like, I mean, yeah, you might drop follow, might not drop follow, but if I can make somebody's day, like they can just come in, like they're having a bad day, like they just want to watch somebody or something, you know, like welcome in and make them happy. Like that is my ultimate goal every time I hit that go live button. If someone's having a bad day and they come in, you know, like, oh, you know, like I'm kind of dealing with this, like, well, what can all of us do to make you have a better night or better day?
Well, it's just like my stream yesterday. Dorkboy came up here, and he's a regular in my stream, but he came up there and he's like, hey, does anyone know anything about computers? And some of my people that I have in my community are pretty good with computers, and so, you know, we stopped playing games. We went over to him. He popped up a video chat on Discord, and we started helping him. You know, started diagnosing his computer and trying to figure out what's going on with them. You know, so I don't care who you are or what your problem is, even if it's a computer or if you're fucking bicycle chain. You know, if you need help, right then and there, come to the stream, man. We're that's what we're there for. We're there to help.
Oh yeah.
You know? That's essentially what we do this shit for.
That's why I love this podcast so much, is being able to help somebody and hopefully make their day,
Yeah. And ultimately help them in the most, hard way possible, which is your brain, trying to get it right. And then, to give them the information and the avenues to get them out of their stuff that they're in.
And that's another, good thing about having the community we do, and all the stuff we talk about is like, Aaron, you do electrical, Mark, you do fabrication, and I change glass in vehicles. Like, we all have different experiences in life, so we all have some source that we can help someone with. Like, if you don't know what to say to that person, you call on the next guy and be like, hey, do you know about this or about that? And then maybe I do, and then we go help. Like,
exactly.
That's the best part about it.
Yep.
No, we thrive on that here, because I mean, there might be like someone comes in and asks a question that we might know, but we have everybody that's behind us that backs us up, that helps us, that we can reach out to, and we can ask like, hey, does anybody know about this? And someone will say yes, like, okay, perfect, I'm going to link you with this person and see if you guys can help each other out. And it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. Well, just like me and P-Stroke, since we're both car guys and all that stuff, I've reached out to him before and asked him, do you know about this and all that stuff, and about, because I had a little bit of problem with my trucks and all that stuff, and being there is one different thing, but being over the phone, but he tried to do his best and try to guide me through and try to help me out through. But that's what we're here for,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I've got a couple of people that have come in like, hey, you're having issues with like stream and stuff like that. Like, yeah, dude, hop into voice chat. We'll bust it out. We'll help you out. We'll get you all set up right.
Right.
And I think one of the first times you came in is when you first started streaming. Like, hey, like the game looks super squished. Can you help me? And so I popped over to your channel, like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like this. We'll try to get you set up, and I'll figure out like what specs you have. That way we can try to work with that and get it to where it runs right.
Right. And that moment right there, I was just like, where's an award for best person on earth, like, for P-Stroke? Because like it's the little stuff like that, man, that like makes people appreciate everything, from different people. Like, from me playing with Aaron all night last night and talking like that's amazing. Like, I think that's what a lot of streamers should do, is just like, have those moments with their chat and different people. And then you helping me out and showing the support back when I show support and stuff like that. It's a blessing, dude. Like, that's why like streaming to me now is really important. Because, I went from like watching bigger streamers as well, to like now where we're at, of like a smaller community, but in a sense, we're still a big community. We still look out for each other. And it's the friendships that I've made with you guys now that really means a lot, because, always having those bad group of friends. Now I got a good group of guys and gals that are absolutely amazing and fun to talk to.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Just to think back a year, and it's been a year since, close to a year. We didn't have any of this shit. We didn't have a community, we weren't, none of us were really streaming and all that stuff. So what we have built within a year is dude, it's amazing, and it fucking blows my mind. So and it's only getting bigger really fucking fast too.
Like, I've only been going for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And I've got several people that I call brothers, sisters, that I absolutely enjoy seeing or talking to every single day.
Yep. Same here.
Whether I'm gaming with them or just hanging out in a voice chat on Discord or something like that in the middle of the day, hanging out, just chilling, vibing.
Yeah.
I love helping other people. Like, I've had several people like, hey, I'm having problems with this, or I'm having problems with that. Can you hop into a voice chat? I'm like, I'll be there in like 2 seconds. Let me turn on my PC. I will be there.
That's what it's all about, man.
Like, to me, every night, I love getting home after a long day at work. I just can't wait to type in your chat, "What's up, buddy?" Like, every night. That's what I do. It's So it's I'm like now I'm ready to look forward to the night. I could sit back, chill, and just like have fun, you know. And you know, it may not even be just like me trying to have fun with you just in general. It's like a chat, like everyone's saying what's up, like with Bernie, Marcus, all of them. Like it's not that I've just tried to make a friendship with you. Like now it's Bernie, Marcus, Aaron, like all of you guys. Like the friendships aren't built just off the streamer. It's everyone in chat starts to become friends as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's super
family.
nice. Yeah, especially, and that's one thing I like with like rating and stuff like that, and rating like other people to make their day better, you know, or someone that's not necessarily in the community, but bringing them into a community that will back them up as well and help them as well. You know, it's huge.
Right.
And or just like bringing communities together, whether like Crabs, Jokers, Aaron's, yours, Bears, you know, like everybody, you know, bringing everybody together is beautiful. I've got several people that have come in from like official edibles or whatever that pop in and just like, hey, what's up? You know, I'm only able to stay for a minute or so, but wanted to leave you tabbed up. Like, I'm like, yo, dude, I appreciate it. You know, it's awesome. Getting all the communities together, it's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing that like, you know, I just started streaming not too long ago, and you know, I had a lot of friends and family follow my stream and stuff. You know, I was at like 19, and now since I've been going into your guys' streams, like now I'm at 39. Like that's amazing. Like it's progressively going up because as a community, we're building each other up. We all want the same goal. We all want to thrive on the same aspect of hanging out with chat, playing the games we love, doing podcasts, stuff like that, you know.
Yeah. Well, we all want to live and win in life, you know. We all want to be there for each other and all find our life purpose, and you know, just fucking win, man. That's all we want. And ultimately have a fucking good mindset, to have a strong, good mindset. So that the type of mindset that I want everyone to have is, I can literally do fucking anything I want to. It's like if I want to go start a fucking $30 billion fucking company, boom, I could do it. If I want to go lose 50 pounds, boom, I can go do it. Whatever it is, I want people to have the mindset is nothing's holding me back.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I've said it before. I think I've said it in every podcast. Is pick out your goal that you want, whether starting a $30 million company or losing 50 pounds. You know, is that first step. Figure out what that goal is. That is your first step. Figure out what the goal is, and then figure out the path for that goal, and just take that first step.
Yeah. Yep. That first step is huge.
The first step is, and whether it's asking for help.
Yeah.
If that's the first step, ask for help.
Yeah.
You know, ask. I mean, even if it's someone that you don't know but they know what you're wanting, you know, or they have what you're wanting to progress towards as well, you know. Ask. It's literally like, hey, like, what is the first step that I need to do? Like your first, what is the next step I need to do? Because first step being asking for help. Then you know, and it's always like, and I say that, like, pick up one piece that is going to help you towards that final goal, and do that one day at a time.
Yep. That's all. Yeah. One foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
And through that one step, you're gonna feel that progress, and you're gonna see it, and you're like, all right, this is what it feels like to you know, be successful and get something done. All right, I want the next step, and then that just trickles down and trickles and trickles, and then 10 years in the future, you're like, holy shit, I'm at where I want to be in life now.
Yeah, where you want to be, and you're running with it.
Yeah, and I think through the whole process of, like, you know, like if you're gonna make a $30 billion company, go for it by all means. But I think during the process is make sure you and yourself are good. Don't lose your mindset. Don't try to overwhelm yourself. Obviously, like if you've already asked for help and you kind of feel like you're losing your mindset a little bit, ask for more help. That's all it takes. You know, you can never lose yourself during the process of trying to make yourself or your life better.
Exactly. And it's easy to do that. You know, you get so overwhelmed with everything, you just get stacked on with, you know, dealing with you and dealing with the stress of life and all that stuff. And sometimes, you know, I've had it happen, you know, just dealing with the bullshit of life, trying to fix me, and you know, I lose sight of it, you know, and I go down a different hole that's not good for me. And then, you know, I'm like, hey guys, I'm fucking up right now. Can y'all pull me back out?
Right.
Yeah.
No.
And one thing we really push towards too is, I mean, with that first step and everything is afterwards, like, or even like trying to figure out what you want to do, and don't quit. You're not allowed to quit. Thrive for what you want to do.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It might not work out in the end, like with how Bryant was saying, is like he wanted to be a professional or like a music artist, you know, and that path might not have worked out, but it put him onto another path. Or like he wanted to be a pro skateboarder, wasn't able to do that, but it put him on to do another path, you know. And it's that first step of realizing what you want to do in life, and that was for him is helping people.
Mm-hmm.
Or like for you, Barrett, is like getting out of where you were. It's and just needing that help from your dad, you know. But that puts you that first step on the path to get to where you want to be in life.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. No, it's, you know, and a lot of like, especially going back to like the don't quit mindset, like keep striving. You know, and it's funny that you said skateboarding, because that's what I was going to say is that, you know, I used to skate a lot, and there's a lot of stuff like, you know, staircases, rails, or stuff like that. You know, been put into a lot of situations where I've got to be like, I truly got this. Like, this rail looks really absolutely sketchy, but you know, I want to do it. I want to land it. So I think doing that, like that kind of stuff, to where, you know, you're put in that position of, okay, I really got to believe, I really got to, you know, get this going, so I can make it. And, you know, it's definitely a tough thought process, especially when you're in that position. You're just like, man, like, I don't know if I can.
Mm-hmm.
And especially like for the rail that I was trying to do, for instance, is like, I don't know if I can, but I went for it. Obviously bailed out, but it's just like, just kept going back, started from the beginning. And sometimes that's what you have to do to be able to make the end goal of landing that trick and going down that rail and good to go. And now you're just like, hey, I can say I did it, you know?
Yeah.
You might get knocked on your ass, but it's about just getting back up.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Aaron.
You're all good. You're all good. Yeah, you may get fucking almost die, but you know, as long as you get back up and keep on going, you know, then you can make it. But yeah, that goes back to, you know, when I first started my YouTube, you know, I was very hesitant of, you know, I was those people. How do you start? How do you start? What do you need to do? You know, I was in the mentality of, well, I need this, I need that, because I was looking at all the big YouTubers at the time, and they had all this fancy equipment and everything. I was like, well, I need that to start YouTube. And then I finally just came to the realization is like, no, I don't. I have a phone that fucking records. I just need to press record, and look at us now. If I never would have fucking pressed record, none of this would have fucking been happening.
Right. And like I was telling, you know, Aaron, I was just like, when I first started streaming, I had just had the Twitch app on my Xbox. I'd click start recording and wouldn't have a camera. My only viewer would be myself, but I kept doing it. And then, you know, obviously the goal was to pretty much get a little bit of a better setup. So even though like I wanted to get the setup, I still had to put in that work to get there, you know. And that's the biggest part people will miss sometimes, is they're just like, I think a lot of people have that mindset of like, this is what I want, but I want it to happen for me, but not me doing it for myself, you know. You know, and it's just like, at the end of the day, like when I sit down at my gaming desk, I'm just like, this is mine. I bled and sweat for this. Like this is amazing. I've accomplished like the things you build up in life, whether it's materialistic stuff or knowledge, you can feel accomplished. Like I did that. Like absolutely, I'm winning at life.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like for me, like I've always watched streams. I've always watched YouTube. I've always watched, and whether it's games or just, I mean, just anything, people just thriving and doing what they want to do in life. And for me, it's like I've always loved entertainment, or like streaming wise, especially. I've always gravitated towards Twitch and watching Twitch and everything ever since I first found out about it. And so I on Xbox first, and they had Mixer, so I tried streaming on Mixer a couple of times on Xbox, you know, and I didn't know really what to do other than just hit that start button. But didn't know like really what to do or anything like that, until I started really getting into Twitch and asking and stuff like that. I built my PC. I think May 17th is when I hit like the on button on it and turned everything on and made sure everything downloaded and everything like that. I hit go live, right? It took like 2 or 3 of pushing it on to finally work, but it works. Finally. But I think I hit the go live button on Twitch Studios May 19th. And used it a couple times, you know, until I was in one of my friends' streams. Shout out to Mr. Krabs. That I know IRL. He's a good homie that was streaming for a few months at this point as well. And he's like, oh, here, well, you know, and he helped me with that first step of setting up Streamlabs and helped me like show, okay, you know, you got to have like, are you going to want like a banner and stuff like that? Just kind of, and a webcam just to kind of get it, draw more people in, you know, and make it to where people actually like want to click in and like stay and, you know, and be interactive with chat. And so from there, I mean, and I've been going for 6 months now and I absolutely love it.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah. I'm with all my content and my brand that I've started and essentially my business, I've found my life purpose. You know, when I first was getting into YouTube, I was like, it was just on a whim. You know, I was watching a bunch of YouTubers at the time, and I was like, you know, it looked really fucking fun. I want to get my shot at it and just try it. So, you know, I was in my truck one night and it was a pitch black fucking video. You couldn't see shit. And I just hit record, man. I just started talking, and you know, people started responding to it and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, this is what this is all about. It's all about the people. So, you know, I started, you know, uploading more and more and more and more. And then, you know, I was like, you know, then the podcast and then all the streaming and all that stuff, you know, popped off. And then just something in my head is like, you're meant to do this. So, you know, through that, I fucking found my life purpose, man.
Yeah. And your videos, dude, are amazing. Shout out iFlames. Link will be down below. iFlames 300. Link will be down below. Yeah, dude, your videos are amazing. And I'm super happy that you found what you were wanting to do, you know, because that led it to where we are now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like even last night, like, you know, Flames was playing Valorant and never played it, never used keyboard and mouse to play any game. And I was like, hey man, I just downloaded it. Like, it looks fun. You're making it look fun. And
this dude is fucking cracked at Valorant.
And it wasn't even like, you know, he was like, oh, just be prepared to rage or whatnot. And I was like my mindset was like, I really don't care. Like, I'm just if we're gonna play together, I'm all for it. I'm ready to play with you. And that's the fun part about it, especially like the other night when I had 8 viewers, like one guy came in my chat and was like, hey, can we run like 2s together? And I was like, absolutely. Like, you know, when we get done with this game, we could play together. And we played more than a couple of matches, and it was the absolute best time I've had so far with streaming. So that's the stuff that I look forward to. Is not, you know, how many people can I get viewing? All it takes is one person to be like, you know, what's up, Bear? And I'm just like, hey man, like, you know, and me and that person can talk all night, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man, is the people.
I love that. Get ready to rage.
Dude, I rage at fucking Valorant so hard.
Well, that just brings me to like when we were doing the intro or doing like the sponsors, you know, like what we would just keep messing up, like, and finally both of us just went mute, yelled at the top of our lungs, like, all right, I feel better, and then nailed it the first try.
Right. But it's
like,
it's
sometimes
fun,
you
right?
just got to get that out and just.
I cherish that moment, man. That was something. I'll go back and watch it once in a while. It was awesome. Share with you, man. So yeah, it was funny as fuck too, man.
Yeah, I ended up going out to the living room after we had done that, and my wife's like, "Why were you yelling?" I was like, "I couldn't get it right. I let out a good yell. I got it first try." She's like, "Well, I'm proud of you." I'm like, "Thank you."
Right.
Fucking I conquered the world today.
Right. Yeah, and that's, you know, that's like a lot of, like, that's another big picture that I think some people miss is like if you look at Elon Musk and like what he's accomplished and what he's doing, I think people fail to see what he had to do to get there.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, creating PayPal, but he was sleeping. Like Elon was like, me and my brother were like, hey, instead of wasting money on an apartment, let's rent a small office. We'll sleep on the couch. We'll shower at the gym or whatever, and we'll keep making this business. And now look what he's accomplished. Like that's one of the things a lot of people kind of miss is like, what have you done to get there? Like, I want to be where you're at, but I want it to happen right away. But it's not, like you kind of have to strive for it.
And that's the whole premise of this podcast, is to hear y'all's hardships and how, whether no matter who you are, whether you're a streamer or you own your own business or you're a multimillionaire, we're all equal on this podcast. Anyways, but that's the whole reason, is to tell people how you got to where you are now. Like whether that's Elon Musk or the billionaires of the world or the millionaires of the world, they all had to bust their ass. I mean, some of them had it handed to them, but the majority of them had to fucking go through their hardest times in their life to get what they want in life.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what like people always look at, like, oh well, he's I think he just hit like the most richest man in the world or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But like people always look at that like, I want to be there, but they don't look at like where they started or how many attempts it took them to get to where they are, and how many paths they had to different take, and like
us.
Oh yeah, and even they're normal human beings. They just got a big bank account.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. Like,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, he's smart as hell, but I mean, if you can be smart as hell, but if you don't push to do something with it, or like want to do something in life, like you're not gonna get anywhere. You got to push. You got to grind. You got to sacrifice everything.
Yep.
To push for what you want.
And a lot of people don't want to do that because it's hard work on themselves. You got to
scary.
It's fearless in them because they're like, well, I know this sitting on the couch eating potato chips and playing video games. That's comfortable to me. I know how to do that. And then you're like, well, I kind of have a dream of starting a business. And you kind of get it started a little bit, and you're like, whoa. I don't know who that fucking person is. Let's go back to this stuff we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always been the tough. Like, imagine, I don't remember his name, but like the guy that created the light bulb, for the amount of times that he tried to create it, imagine if he was a quitter. We would still use candles. There's, someone down the road would have created it, but that's the thing, like that.
Thomas Edison.
Ben Franklin.
Ben Franklin, yes.
I don't think.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was going. Hold on, Ben Franklin. I don't think so.
No,
I think.
Well, no. Ben Franklin is the one that like found electricity with the
with the
kite and the key.
Yeah. Was it Tesla?
Who's the one that made the light bulb?
Thomas Edison sounded familiar to me, but I'm gonna.
I know it wasn't Tesla, because Tesla found
Who was it?
AC or DC, one of those two.
Oh, he was right. Okay,
what?
I'm gonna shut my mouth. It was Thomas Edison.
Okay. I think it was one of those three.
Yeah,
I was thinking of the light key, whatever.
What?
the kite with the key. I was thinking of because Ben Franklin did that, but
the
first light bulb, was Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
I apologize. I was wrong. I double-checked. I Googled it.
No, you said the name first.
No, you claimed said Thomas Edison.
I said Thomas.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but just imagine like that'd be insane if
I wasn't like canceling it out, like, no, you're fucking wrong. That's just
right.
Calm the fuck down, P-Stroke.
Aaron's looking for a new podcast host. I was wrong.
Yagbear, you want to be the podcast host?
Right.
I'm all for it. But yeah, like it's so incredible to see the amount of things that a lot of these big companies or people have done in life to change the world. And I just think, like,
for a positive way too.
Right. And when we look at the history of what they done to change that we forget that they had help. They asked for help. That's in the background. So that's behind the scenes that we didn't get to see or learn in history class. Like,
exactly.
That's why it's always a big thing in trying to build, whether it's a company or a better life for yourself, it's help. That's just the grand key of, life. just
Yep.
having that positive vibe around you. And, if you know that they're not really,
Yeah.
and you can't really force someone to help you 100% of their time. It's just,
Yeah,
you get the
that's why
help
you got
where
to
it's
put the
given.
work into.
Yeah.
You ultimately, they can help you, but they can guide you, but you're ultimately going to have to put in the majority of the effort to fix you.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. That's, like I said, that's for me, that was an absolute tough road to go down. But I just had to, sit back, think about life. What do I want to do? How do I want to live? And just kind of living in the gutter was not me. Being mean and gangsterish all the time or whatever was just not it. And it's not the life I want anyone to live, because it's not fun. Some of the stuff you see sticks with you forever, but it's a learning experience. I'll never, I can't say never, because I know my kids are going to be just as freaking dumbasses as I was. They're going to do, I don't really want to tell them all the stories. They're going to be like, well, if dad did it, I could do it,
Right.
but I just want them, I want the younger generation. Well, I guess I'm still young generation, but I just want the younger generation that's going to be coming up with my kids to know that, like, this is how life could be if you make it that way. You try hard. Like, I know some kids that started lawn mowing businesses at 15,
Right.
and they're thriving. They got big trucks, company trucks, a whole bunch of trailers like that. They worked for that at a young age, and that their life is set, because they started at such an early age and worked hard, and they keep working hard every day. And like I told Flames last night, or I think I told you last night, I don't remember who I was telling, but I was like, the greatest thing that, someone's like, hey, like, what are you going to do, to make life better? And it's like, I'll figure it out tomorrow. I got to be in this moment. I got to figure this part out. Like, I have 24 hours to figure out what I'm going to do to make life great today.
Yep.
And then I've got another 24 tomorrow to do the same thing.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. You got to, the way I live my life, because I've also been very close to death multiple times, is, I live it like it's my last. Like today, I live in the mindset that I will not wake up tomorrow, so I better get my fucking ass busy doing shit that fucking matters in this world.
Right. And that was always a tough thing to, like, grasp for me, was when I was just sitting there bumming around and doing drugs. I always kind of figured, like, it is today my last day. Like, when I go do this deal, am I going to get shot, robbed, killed, whatever? And it was always hard for me to think about, just because that's what people knew me for, And if I would have died that day, that would have been my funeral speech. He's a drug dealer. He was doing bad in life, and now he's a victim of it. I'd rather go out with a great story, and kind of people remember who the real me was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up there, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Fucking awesome story, dude. Good talk and all that stuff. Learned a lot.
Happy to have you on, my dude.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
I'm glad you were willing to, like, literally the last minute
to
accept our invitation.
Lifesaver.
Yeah. It's crazy that I just met you yesterday and boom, you're on the podcast.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, you're a kick-ass dude, man. You're a warrior, man. Like I said before, you're part of our family now. And we're not gonna let you go anywhere. You're not allowed to fail, not allowed to quit. So you have my number. I don't know if you have P Stroke's number, but if you ever need any help, man, anything, you need guidance, anything, man, that throughout life, because we're gonna keep you in our lives.
Yep.
Reach out, brother. Reach out. If you can't get me on text, fucking start hitting me up on all my social medias, man. I'll answer fucking one of them. Same with Mark, dude. We're here to help, dude, and our community too. So don't be scared to ask for help if you need it.
Right. No, I appreciate you guys having me on here. It was an absolute blast. Like I said, I'm glad I put pants on to be able to come do this and hang out and have the conversation. And like, I think another blessing with the podcast is that, like, I get to come on here, and even though I'm out of that struggle, it still kind of eats at me a little bit when I think about it. But talking about it, just venting it out. It's just like you feel an extra weight lifted off your shoulders. Like
Mhm.
sooner or later, that part of my life is going to be forgotten,
Yeah.
not thought about, not bring me down.
You move on from it.
Yeah.
Like ultimately move on from it.
Yep. So that's why this was like an absolute like blessing to have, you know, be able to do this podcast with you guys.
I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah,
Means a lot
dude,
to
I'm
us, dude.
super happy that you're able to come on and tell your story. And I hope that someone clicks in and it helps them as well.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. So, man, if you want to give you a shout out for anything that you're doing in life, man, the camera's yours.
Yeah.
You know, I was telling Flames last night. Hold on, ADHD. Say what you said again, Flames. Sorry.
So if you want to give any shout outs for, like your social media or anything that you got,
Yeah, your plugs, Twitch and all that.
Twitch or anything.
Yeah, I'm just,
camera's yours.
You know, go to my Twitch. It's the __ Yagbear. Just show a lot of love there. I'm not really on my social medias as much, I guess, as Twitch, just because I'll post an ugly picture here or there on Instagram. But yeah, I don't know what to say, man. I appreciate y'all. At the end,
We appreciate you, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what I really want to shout out, you know, besides the stream. It's just like it's really a blessing to be on here and talk to you guys.
You
Your
shout
Instagram
anything,
the
man.
same as the __ Yagbear.
It is the Yagbear, no underscores for
Underscores.
Instagram. So yeah, you'll see a lot of motorcycle pictures on there and stuff like that. Of course, like and I was telling Flames this last night, you know, and you'll see it on my Instagram as well, is that I started my own motorcycle club. It's called Kids and SIDS, because I was like a troubled kid, so I always wanted to kind of help out kids in general that were always in that struggle. Been there, so I know how to kind of work them with it. And then SIDS, I had a brother pass away from that at a young age. He was actually 2 months old, and so you know, I kind of, instead of making that badass biker image, I was like, I'll stick true to myself. I'll be wanting to help people out, you know, the charity wise. SIDS, like that's obviously a big part of my life. And then kids, man, like it's the kids that we need to help out. Like there's the ones, once we're gone, they're running the world, you know?
Yeah, I'll put a link for that charity down below, and also I'll put a link for your Twitch and all the social medias that you want to give a shout out to. I'll put them down in the description of this video.
Yep.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, guys.
Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir.
Much
Yes,
love
sir.
to y'all.
Absolutely.
And, if you don't know, Bear, we upload these episodes on Tuesday. So
Okay.
so when they go up, they'll go up about central my time, about 2 to 3 o'clock, because they go up on YouTube. So
Sweet. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
yeah, brothers. Y'all are fucking
Appreciate
awesome. I
you
love
guys.
every single one of y'all, and y'all fucking
Keep thriving. Have a kick-ass week.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. You guys.
Look forward to next weekend, my dude.
Yep.
Much
Oh,
love,
yeah.
brother.
Much love,
Guys.
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 Don't give up, guys. Keep fucking winning. I'll kick your ass.
Never quit. Never quit.
It's worth it.
Peace out, guys.
Later.
Peace.